boys and girls. So you'll notice, first of all, before I go any further, it is extremely important that this should be the second video that you are watching today. It is very important that you watch the complementary angles video first and do the work that goes along with that one. Then watch this video. So this is the companion piece. This is part 2. Okay, so please make sure that you do that. And also, that's going to make, you're going to understand what I'm going to say way easier, because this is really similar to what you did in the complementary angles video. So just like with the last one, you're going to need a new, fresh piece of paper and pencil, a standard protractor, a ruler, and actually this time, we do not need the small plastic square. We do not need that because we are not going to be making perpendicular lines, okay? So supplementary angles are really, really similar to complementary, except with complementary, we were dealing with a right angle to start off, right? We drew a right angle, a 90-degree angle, and then we drew 2 angles inside of that. A supplementary, you'll be starting with a straight angle of 180 degrees, and then you'll be adding an additional ray within that. And as you can see with this, very, very often, nearly every single time, unless you did a 90 and 90, I guess, you're going to end up with one obtuse and one acute, okay, this time around. Just like last time, you notice I do not have my document camera, so I'm going to be drawing out on my Google Doc what I need you to do. So I'm going to be having you do some work today. So I'm going to be starting off with, I want you to take your ruler and I want you to draw a longer straight line. So, I have to do this in 2 different parts because I want to make sure that I'm drawing a line with arrows on both ends like this. See what I'm saying? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to draw a longer line than you did last time, okay, to start off with, because we are not drawing, technically we're drawing 2 rays end to end, but really it's just going to look like a line. So how many inches long? I don't know, 6 inches or something. And make sure that you have on either end, you have your pointies, and somewhere towards the middle, I can't do this with my drawing, but somewhere right towards the middle, you really should make a point. Okay, draw a little circle towards the middle of these 2 so that you can really tell this isn't really supposed to be a line. It's supposed to be 2 rays that are opposite of each other, making 180 degrees. Okay, so again, this next part is going to seem very similar to what you did in part 1, complementary. Okay, so, and again, as I say, pause this over and over and over. Pause it as many times as you like. As I always say, make sure you do that, please. So we're going to add an additional ray inside of this straight angle, this 180-degree angle. And again, you can have this go anywhere you wish. It can go over here or closer to the middle or over. Now, I'm going to make mine like over here. You don't necessarily have to, but you can. Now, what you see that I've created is one obtuse angle over to the right and one acute over to the left. Just like last time, we, meaning you, are only going to be measuring with the protractor one of these angles, okay? Let's stick to the one to the right. Okay, now whatever that happens to be. So if you did the one over to the right, ooh, don't do that, Mr. Brown. If you did the one over to the right and it's an acute angle, fine. If the one over to the is an obtuse, fine. But I'm going to say, oh boy, I'm going to get myself in trouble here because I don't have a protractor. I'm just guessing. I'm going to guess that this angle over to the right that I've created, it's over 100. It's probably 120 something, maybe 130 something. Boy, I'm going to get myself in trouble if I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm going to say 135. And I could be very wrong about that. So please don't pick on me if I'm wrong about that. So you use your protractor, figure out whatever this angle to the right is, okay, and then write it down here. Please, please, please The way that supplementary angles is supposed to work is that you are not supposed to measure physically both angles. You're supposed to use subtraction to figure out your second one, your missing angle, okay? Now, last time you did 90 minus whatever your first one. Well, a straight angle is not 90 degrees, boys and girls, right? A straight angle is 180. So this time, your subtraction problem is going to be 180 minus whatever this one was. Now, for me, it's 135. That looks weird. But for yours, again, they don't line up very well here for me. But for yours, it's going to be different. So when I look at your paper tomorrow, I don't want to see 135 because it's highly unlikely that yours is going to be exactly the same as mine. And it's also totally cool if you don't round to the nearest 5, if you want to get super specific. You know, maybe yours is 131, maybe yours is 103, maybe yours is 86. I don't know. So be specific today if you want. You know, we've worked with protractors long enough where I believe that you don't have to round to the nearest 10 or the nearest 5 anymore. Go for it, right? So I'm going to be looking for subtraction problems when I look at your papers tomorrow, okay? Now, Mr. Brown, how do I know if I'm right about this? Well, one way, should I measure this one to the left? Well, what you could just do is whatever this angle is and whatever this one is, if you add these two numbers together, they should equal 180. So you could always just check by using addition to see if your subtraction is correct. You see what I'm saying? So whatever this one is, if you add them together, you'll be like, oh, it does add up to 180. If it adds up to something else, then you did something incorrect with your subtraction, okay? Please remember to look for those numbers, right? If the digit on the top is less than the digit on the bottom, you need to regroup. 0 minus 5 for me is not going to be 5, right? We've done subtraction many times before. We know this, how this should work. So please make sure that you're subtracting carefully. And just like with the complementary, I want you to do this a total of 4 times. The time that you're doing right now and an additional 3 times. Because this is a larger operation, I mean physically, like the lines are bigger, than with the complementary angles video, I would recommend maybe doing 2 on the front and 2 on the back, okay? And again, labeling your angles just like I do, labeling this one too, right? So after your subtraction problem, you should write this in here, what it is, okay? Don't just leave the answer down here. Make sure to add the little degree sign. And also make sure your name is on this. That's kind of important too. Okay, again, a total of 4 times. I will be looking at this tomorrow. And that is supplementary angles. All right, have fun with it. Use your protractor carefully. Make sure to line up those lines at the bottom. Make sure to line up that dot inside the hole where the point is. Make sure you work carefully. Okay, do not rush through this, please. Okay, because the only thing waiting for you after this is Zern anyway, so you might as well take your time. All right, have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will see ya.